You're not
I'm
gonna
not
what?
gonna. I'm not gonna say I did those stickers precisely so that a year after I ordered them, you could
It,
put them on your microphone and look cool. But man, did it work out?
did I was gonna say, did you see how perfect this is? It looks
I know.
like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not focusing very well, but it like I didn't have to cut this or anything. It fit perfectly. It was like, oh my gosh, this is. It's like it was made for it.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Are we rolling?
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, you're ready now? Yeah. That's
Cool.
it's just like you're just jab. So, I've got a mic here, so you keep
Oh,
that's
okay,
that was
okay.
for you. I
I'm
could have set
already,
you up
you're,
with one
you're
of these
already
too.
nice. No,
That's-
I want to be holding
we
this.
we had the cool
Yeah.
one.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Liquid Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Karl Meisterheim, and with me, as always, my esteemed colleague from north of here, Taylor Page. Taylor?
Carl, how's it going,
How are
bud?
you?
Glad to see you. Glad to see that you're warm and safe in the middle of our Ohio winter storm. Well,
Yes, this
not
is-
just Ohio. I guess everybody's going through a winter storm right now. So
I think you could make the argument that maybe we actually didn't get the worst of it compared to most of the rest of the country in terms of the ice and the bitter cold for folks that aren't prepared for bitter cold. It's
Yep.
annoying for sure what happened here, but nothing terrible. How much snow did you guys end up getting?
So we got about a foot. It was about almost 12 inches, I think. So 10 to 12 inches maybe. Not as much as some of the bigger forecasts they were calling for, like 15 inches or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's all right. How about y'all?
We got about a foot too. I didn't physically measure it, but definitely at least a foot.
I didn't either.
I sort of obsess over these
just
things.
guessed,
You just guessed, yeah. But like I was aware of the storm's potential, like at least a week out. I have certain meteorologists that I follow.
Right.
Not that I understand what they're talking about
You've-
necessarily. I just do
You've
it.
got the fancy app too, right? Don't you have like an app or service that you
Yeah,
have?
Radar Omega.
for storm
I pay
tracking?
for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw it coming, and there. Unfortunately, you have to have a filter in life now, right? Anytime you interact with someone on social media, it's like, okay, they're hyping because that's what they have to do.
Yes.
So is this going to be the storm of the century? I don't know, but it looks like there'll be at least some snow, right? So it went from that to like, oh my goodness, we're actually going to get a foot of snow, because usually it's less than half of what they always say, right? So
Yes, it's always like, oh man, and then everybody's at the store buying milk and bread and all this other stuff, right? Because for some reason this is the staple whenever there's a storm coming, and but yeah, we actually did get a good chunk of the snow, at least that they were suggesting. It wasn't all completely hype. So I do know. Let's say that the way that I was measuring it was I had to change the boots that I needed to wear to take my dog outside. So it got deep enough where I've got those, I don't know, regular traditional hiking boots, whatever you would call them or whatever, and it was over top of those. So
Oh, wow.
it was enough snow that I had to switch to. I've got these waders, so they come up almost to my knee. They're made for like walking into creek beds and stuff. Or I mean, I don't know what they're made for.
wading.
Actually, that's what I use them for.
I mean, for wading.
For wading, yes. So I use those now, and that worked really great, because otherwise I was getting snow inside my shoe, and then it gets under your feet, and you're like, no, I just was trying to take the dog out real fast,
speaking of which, I know
changed
like you're
socks.
somewhat recent dog owner here. That's the thing they don't tell you about owning a dog in the winters. Like, did you have to shovel a pee spot for your dog?
That's no. So well, the
Is
benefit
he tall
of the
enough?
kind of dog that we got a Bernese Mountain Dog, and
Oh.
so she is currently 6 months. They love the snow, and she's 6 months and 60 pounds, and she's basically at 6 months the size of a traditional like large full size dog. So she's basically the size of a full grown golden retriever at this point, right? For context, and she will get much larger. So yeah, no, did not have to worry about that. The biggest issue actually with this kind of snow is getting her to come inside, because she loves the snow. And so it's just more about like, hey, like, it's cold out here. Can we please go inside? Like, do your business so I can go in.
She's
a little bit
6
different, yeah.
months, 60 pounds. Did you think this through beforehand?
So in its entirety, no. I love big dogs. But like I think we've talked about that before. I wasn't expecting us to go get a camper and get this big of a dog. So those are brand new sets of logistics now. Of it went from just our kids and us in this camper and the truck
was
when we're
simple.
traveling somewhere. to now we've got to worry about a dog that's going to be massive, and so that's we've had to make some adjustments. So, but yeah, I tell people that I like big dogs a lot, and I've always wanted these Bernese Mountain Dogs. I think it's the closest I can to like owning a bear, like that's she's going to be that big.
I didn't realize that was one of your life's ambitions, was to own a bear, but
Yeah. If you could legally own a bear that wouldn't maul you or whatever, I think it'd be cool. You've seen those videos of like people in Russia or whatever that raise bears or whatever, and they're just like wrestling with them and stuff. I just think that would be so fun if it wasn't potentially gonna like eat me,
Well, there was a story. I don't think you had moved back to Ohio at this point, but there was a guy that lived down, I want to say Zanesville. Let me double check where this is at. And he had a bunch of exotic animals on his property. And then one day he decided he wanted to be done with life, and so before he did all that to himself, he let all the animals loose.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Where was it? Yeah, Zanesville. And so like there were like bears and lions and things. I don't know the exact animals, but they were all these dangerous exotic animals that are just running around the outskirts of Zanesville because this guy's let them all out. Yeah, so you could have gone and gotten yourself a bear if you'd been here.
Yeah, that was my chance. I ruined it.
Yeah, I think they got them all.
Hopefully, huh?
Maybe they're still down there.
There have been recent bear sightings up around here, so maybe not. I don't know.
Anyway, well, that's a depressing story. Thanks for that. So you have been busy. Like, we haven't really talked face to face for 3 weeks because you are super world traveler, sophisticated Shopify developer / interviewer extraordinaire. Yeah, what are you up to?
So New York is an hour and a half flight from Ohio. So it was they announced this small editions meetup. Yeah. So they announced this small editions meetup in New York City. So Shopify they have one space, like a Soho space. It's the area in New York City or whatever that it is for those of you that aren't super familiar with it, like me. But then I guess they have now another office space, and they just have this space at this building, and they decided like, hey, we're going to have kind of like this small meetup going over the most recent editions updates. And after they announced it, I was like, hey, that's not that bad of a flight, pretty affordable. My wife loves New York City, and so we were able to dump the kids on some family. They were super excited. Like, my kids are always like, can you guys go on trips for longer? Well, nice. They say that beforehand, but then like when you're leaving, they're like, no, don't leave us, you're coming back, right? You're like, what? Like, when did we ever? Anyways, so we did all that. Had to figure out something for the dog too. That was a new, again, haven't thought it all the way through. If we're traveling somewhere now, you got to figure some place to take the dog, because you can't leave the kids and the dog with the same family, right? That's kind of rude. Like, you can do one or the other, but not both. And so we boarded our puppy somewhere over here, and they did a great job, and that was great. She got to play with some other dogs at the doggy daycare, so everybody was having fun while we were gone in New York City. And I would have loved to have gone in sooner, but the way that it worked just with kids, like practices and schedules and stuff and what have you, really had to fly up on Wednesday, and it was Wednesday night, or Wednesday evening, 6:00. I don't know. I'm an old man, so that's Wednesday night for me. I'm going to bed at like 8. I had to stay up for this thing. But no, it was great. And so they talked about a couple of the AI edition updates and stuff, Agentic Commerce, UCP, that Universal Commerce Protocol and stuff like this, or what have you. Talked about a whole bunch of those things. Got to sit down. Really excited to talk about some of those things and show some of these interviews that we talked about from there. So a couple people from Shopify were very gracious with their time, sat down and chatted a little bit about some of the new updates. And then obviously it was really great too to get to meet with some people there as well. So Brenda Storer was there. She's New York City based. Got to see Patrick. We've had Patrick and Brenda both on the podcast. Obviously got to see Liam and talk to Liam as well. So Liam Griffin, he's awesome. And then I saw Henry, but only pretty briefly. So Henry with Izzy, if we've had him on as well before and stuff too. So he's so funny because he's like based out of Atlanta, but loves to come to New York for stuff. And he was just in New York the week before for something else.
Oh.
and then came back up for this. So yeah, he's a lot of fun. So I didn't get to hang out with him after, but got to hang out and talk with Brenda and Patrick and stuff a little bit. The next day, my wife and I were just kind of hanging out before we had to head back. So it was a really fun trip, really educational too. So I think that was really great.
Questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get to that
Yeah,
part.
do it. Mm-hmm.
So your wife came with you,
Yeah.
and were you able to like make it feel like this was like she's not just tagging along while you do work, but like you guys were able to do it together, and like was she involved and enjoying herself too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about enjoying herself while we were doing so. Well, yes and no. So she was really worried initially. So for some context, for those who don't know, my wife and I work in our business together, but we have like our own clients. So she left her profession, her career too, after things were working out really well for us in the Shopify space. So she quit her full-time job, and she works in the business now. She does a lot of like UX and operation stuff, supports several merchants on Shopify already, and then we get to come together and work on some projects together, like bigger jobs where it's like a build or a migration or redesign or something. So that's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of shared context there, but just not as developer-y. And this was very much so like a developer event. Like that was what they said. Bring your laptops, which is so funny because at no point was there any time I could have pulled out my laptop. I was just sitting there talking, and everyone else the whole time.
Event?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. They did a ton of Q&A, which was really, really awesome to see. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But as far as like my wife goes, she was worried about like, because it was limited seating, obviously they could only have so many people in the space, and she was worried about taking someone else's spot. She's like, I'm not a developer, and I was like, well, they're not going to be able to like go, like it's only a couple hours. Even if they did something the whole 2 hours, they're not going to be able to go too deep into anything. Like it's going to be good information for you, and you're going to understand most of it, I guarantee it. And so she was worried about that, but still went. And then like during that, she was like, yeah, I understood like most of what they were talking about, so that was great. And she got a lot out of it. There was actually some info that they talked about that she used like the very next day. We're in the hotel doing some work the next morning, and she was doing some stuff with Sidekick and Flow. And so she had used some of the information that they had talked about just the night before for a client who needed something, and so that worked out really well. So yeah, she enjoyed herself. I don't know if she enjoyed being the camera woman. So when we were talking to some people from Shopify, so we got to sit down and talk to Eitan and Darius and Liam, and talk to them a little bit about just all this agentic commerce stuff and some of the new updates that came from that. And so she's the person behind the camera or whatever. I don't know if she enjoyed that part as much or whatever, but I was like, you gotta help me out here. While we're here, I need someone to do this. So she was a good sport. She did that. So, but yeah, we had a blast. The next day we visited we went to, I don't know if you've been in New York City. There's this High Line you walk on or whatever.
Before you go there,
I
got one more question about the thing. Our audience needs to know some of these things. So you talked about how you traveled there. You talked about your wife coming there. What kind of food was at the event? Tell me about the snacks.
So first of all, Shopify. Like, before coming to this thing, they're like, there will be light refreshments, okay? And anytime Shopify says there's going to be light refreshments or anything, don't think of that the rest of the way apparently the rest of the world thinks of it. Because when I hear light refreshments, like what do you think? You think like maybe like some drinks or something, or maybe hors d'oeuvres. Yeah. So we get there, and there's like 400 boxes of this like famous New York City Joe's Pizza or something like this or whatever. And so we had just stopped at like a local coffee shop beforehand to just get something to eat. We hadn't eaten dinner, and so we were just like, all right, let's just get something. It says the doors open at 6, and so it was like 5 o'clock, so we're just going to get something on the way that's close and then walk the rest of the way in. We get there, and definitely could have got there a little bit earlier. I wish we would have, because I just didn't assume that the doors would be open that early. Tons of people already there, and like I said, tons of pizza and everything else and whatever. So they had pizza and some other little things or whatever. So it was pretty pretty spread. They had other stuff like fruit and different things in that too or whatever. And that was fine. I was just looking at the pizza. And the pizza was good. So there were several people who were New York City based that were like, this isn't the best pizza or whatever, but apparently it's like the tourist famous like New York style pizza kind of type thing. So it was good.
That was
No, it wasn't Sbarro's. You texted about that, and I was messaging. Like, we had joked about, we passed a Sbarro's on the way. I was like, should we stop in? Like, I've never even seen one outside of like an airport or a food court or whatever, But there was an actual Sbarro's there, so everything's in New York.
Yeah, man. That's the cool thing about New York City. I have been there to New York City a couple of times. Not recently.
World traveler, well done, sir.
Back in my youth, but because of the nature of that city, I think anytime you do anything there, it's gonna be you go pretty hard with it, right? In terms of just the quality and the quantity and just the size of it. I imagine if you were in that environment for a long time and then you came to say like the Midwest, and it's how things are like here, you're like, oh, this is so.
What is this? Yeah, it's definitely very, very different atmosphere, environment, whatever you want to call it. New York is its own special place. I love visiting places like that. It's saying like I love Toronto. Like I love visiting Toronto. I just don't know that I could ever live there. It's just kudos to the people that can. It's just there's so much happening. And it's very cool, but I feel like I don't know how people deal with the overload of like everything all the time kind of type thing. So it's
my point being that it's fun to come from the environment that you and I hang out in and go there and like experience the ecstasy for a couple of days and then come back. Right. And then,
yes, 100%. Mm-hmm.
So that keeps it fresh every time you go. Like, oh, this is so fun. But I imagine if you're there all the time, you would just get tired of eating pizza nonstop.
Probably. Well, there's so many cool restaurants even we passed just walking from the hotel, right? Like food I've never even like heard of before or whatever. And so it was funny even when we went to go. My wife and I met Brenda the next day just to hang out and have lunch and stuff or whatever. And so she's from New York, so I'm like, all right, like, help us pick the place or whatever. And so she sent this list of places. And I was like, okay, well, like this one sounds good. Like, have you ever eaten here? She's like, no, it's just a place I wanted to go or whatever. But I think it's like that. Even though you live there, it's like, oh, like this is a great excuse to try something because there's probably a billion restaurants there. I don't know, but it was good food. So
that's fun. And so you were telling me you guys did all that stuff, hung out. It was what, from 6 to 8:30, or did it go long?
Yeah, it got done. Yeah, it's like 6:30 to 8:30, I think. And so I think a little bit after 9:30 or so, they were starting to usher people out.
Interesting.
And so
I would have thought they just go late.
Yeah, well, I think they obviously had their office space, and so it's like staffed with other people there. So I'm sure they were just trying to be respectful of other people's time, given the time and stuff. And I'm sure there were other people going and hanging out afterwards at other places. I just don't know. Yeah. Like my wife and I just grabbed an Uber and got there, which like that was also something I was not prepared for. Was just oh my gosh, like Uber prices, man. Woo! New York City Uber prices. Wow, I did not budget for that at all, and that kind of snuck up on me. So just our ride to the airport from the airport to our hotel was over $100. And I was like, okay, all right, well, this is now, we're going to be walking where we can, so, which it is a very walkable city. It was just cold outside. So,
Oh, New York's walkable? Well. Is it? I hadn't heard.
So walkable. So walkable.
Interesting. Well, that sounds like a great time. I really think it's interesting too, in terms of our temperaments, how when we heard about this, you were like, oh yeah, dude, let's go. And like you just, within, what was it? You had like a week or two's notice and you guys just pulled it off?
Yeah.
I need a week or two just to get comfortable with the idea of potentially going. And then I need like another month to strategize about hotels and travel and all that sort of stuff. And then contingency plans for if we don't make it on time, things like that, right? So kudos to you.
Well, this is just so historically I'm not that person. This is just apparently our year of travel. Like I've just kind of accepted that it's going to happen this year, and so I don't know. I'm excited because especially if it's a city where I know people, like Brenda and Patrick being there, knowing Liam was going to be there. That's all super exciting for me. Talking Henry into going and stuff, and so that's all. Very exciting when you can like meet people that you're friends with online or whatever, and then get to meet them in real life. It's just that part is very exciting for me. I don't know if it was just like going to some kind of an event or whatever. I don't know if I would go. It's more about like getting to see the people and stuff like that. So it's got me excited for editions in the future again too. So that's all great.
Now, I want to hear about your guys' touristy time too, which I cut you off from. But before we do that, I'm curious. Obviously, they did a whole bunch of work around the winter editions and the presentation and the videos and the website that we looked over, like tons of information on there. What could they possibly have covered in 2 hours that was like new and informative, or like help me contextualize what the information was that you received and how that was different from what everyone else heard.
Yeah, so I think for the most part, so I think of the editions drop and everything, like the website, everything is like super overwhelming, super amazing, super awesome, right? Very overwhelming. It's just a lot, and even trying to like go through and get actionable information from the website and changelog updates and everything that came out of it or whatever was just like trying to drink from a fire hose, right? And so this was much more, I would say it was just like more like intimate in the sense of like it was a handful of people from Shopify, and I mean there were a lot of devs there. I didn't expect that. I should say partners. I know there were more like non-devs there too as well, and so there were probably 100 or so Shopify partners there at the event, and then there was probably another 20, 30 Shopify staff hanging out, but there were really only I think 5 presenters really, and they were just kind of representing these different facets of like some of the releases that had dropped. And so as far as like how what this like was informative, I think it was just like practical applications. So they did do kind of these small presentations from different folks. So Eitan comes up and talks about his piece, and then Darius came up and talked about his piece. Matt Koenig came up and talked as well, and then also from shop, I can't remember who the person was off the top of my head, so I really apologize for that. But there was also the person running the shop app and stuff off that as well. So they were all kind of like did their own presentations, but then there was like Q&A afterwards, and there was no like sidestepping and dodging questions, which I thought I was very impressed by that. People were just like asking about real world use case scenarios, and they were giving real actionable feedback, like how do we use this, like why aren't we doing this, and so that part of it was really, really good, because you could tell it was just a bunch of partners who had legitimate use cases where they were either concerned about how something was going, or just didn't understand. Like I thought it was really helpful kind of getting more of a grasp on like UCP, how that all came about, why Shopify even pushed for that and moved in that direction and those sorts of things. I think that was all super, super helpful to get their vision or their take on that. So that part of it, that's more of like the educational piece I think that I was talking about. It definitely helped me wrap my head around a lot of these things. So that was either just because of hearing other partners ask really good questions, but also then just hearing them, the Shopify staff and stuff, just giving straight answers about stuff. I think that was really, really, really helpful.
Was any of that recorded and planned to be shared with the shown? No, so you had to be there.
No, they were really leaning into and leveraging like this is a in-person event. We're not going to record it for later. We obviously got to sit down and talk to some folks after the fact or what have you, but I did get permission to do that. Otherwise, there was no recording during or anything like that, and I was trying to be respectful of that as well. I snapped a couple of pictures or whatever, kind of type thing, but that was it. I wasn't doing any like recording during, just because they were. I think we had to sign an NDA and stuff beforehand. That was why we got special permission to even like, hey, is it cool if we do interviews after? We can share this and what have you. And so I think the goal there is just really trying to preserve the in-person experience, right? And I'm glad. I think it's exciting. It's an exciting signal that Shopify is pushing back into that. I think that's something that a lot of people are looking forward to, just because Editions is so awesome, but it's like a once a year thing. So if they do some of these smaller meetups that are a little bit more targeted or whatever, I think they're going to be great. I think they're going to do really well.
Awesome. That sounds like it was a really good time. Did you get to ask questions?
Yeah, so I did not ask questions, because you're like, there's some really smart people in the room asking really good questions, but thankfully some of them had the same questions that I did, so that worked out really well.
You would have asked,
and not stuff. Well, and I'm, believe it or not, this may come as a shock to you, I'm actually not great at like thinking on my feet all the time with those things. I'm an internal processor, and so I like to take and soak the information in, and then kind of like work on it from there or whatever. And so like when I'm hearing about it, it's just really helpful for me to hear all these other use cases and stuff that are happening. But yeah, it was great.
That's cool. All right, so you mentioned, well, opportunity for you to cover any of the specifics takeaways that you want to do, but also do you want to wrap up by telling me about the rest of your trip? You guys talked about the High Line.
Yeah, I mean, so we went to the High Line. That was a lot of fun. Walked all the way down to Chelsea Market. There's a whole bunch of little spaces there. Some little tiny island thing. I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Manhattan.
Excuse me, I'm talking too much apparently because I'm starting to lose my voice here a bit. But yeah, so we had a lot of fun spending time in the city, like I said, and getting obviously to hang out with people. And so that part was really great. There was also, I don't know what the story is, and I need to ask somebody in New York. I know New York's like famous for pigeons, but like there's these like giant pigeon structures, like, or I don't know. There's this one. It was right off the High Line, but it goes over these streets or whatever. I took some pictures. So I'm curious. I don't know. I need to ask Brenda what that's about because she's been in New York for forever. But fun stuff like that in New York that you're not going to really catch in other places. And we were really fortunate. The weather was like probably the nicest there. I think it was like 40 degrees there.
Oh, yeah.
40 degrees Fahrenheit. Freedom units there. And so like I think back home it was 10 at the time or whatever, so we were really lucky. Yeah. We were really lucky that worked out. Mm-hmm.
You were really lucky with timing in general. I mean, because you guys were right on the heels, or right on the precipice of the big storm. So
yeah, well, I knew there was a storm moving in because Eitan even asked after the interview, he was like asking how long we were sticking around, and I was like, oh, we're leaving Friday. He's like, oh, you're trying to get out before that 16 inches of snow or whatever we're supposed to get or whatever. It's like, I did not even know that was a thing. So yes. And so like I went back to the hotel, was like looking at the weather just to make sure that was all going to work out for us, and we actually could stay on Thursday. So yeah, that worked out really well. At least, yeah, very fortunate there.
For sure. Amazing. So how do you want to dig into some of the learnings here?
Yeah. So, as far as some of the things I think that were most helpful and things that we need to know about, and I posted a little bit about this on socials, but I think it's really helpful for people to see. So I don't know other developers if they've run into this thing lately where, I think one of the biggest things that was helpful for me, the takeaway was, you're talking to Shopify folk, and like I said, you're doing these Q&As, and they're asking questions about specifics or what have you, and these are the same people that they built UCP, right? And they did that in collaboration with like Google and like major retailers, all this stuff. Shopify is very, very, very up on AI and all this other stuff or whatever, and people are asking them questions about like, hey, these Agentic Engine Optimization tips from these people or whatever, saying we should do this or whatever kind of type thing. And there's a lot of it that they're just like, we don't really know, And so I think that's the big call out right now is there's like these agencies that have spun up, and it's just people trying to take advantage of the situation of the AI hype. And they're like, hey, we've got like agentic commerce already figured out. It's just like, you don't. Like, I don't think you do, because like the people that are even doing this, man, are even telling you like, there's a lot of unknowns here. Like, this is just like the best thing that we've got right now. And so I think that was really helpful. It was affirming because I've felt that, at least, as far as like wanting to give good information to people I'm working with or to other developers asking about it, right? And I don't think like there are just plenty of unknowns. So a great example of this, I asked Eitan directly about this, and we can show that clip or whatever. But it was basically like there's this hack to like upload. It's not a hack. I don't know what you want to call it. But the suggestion was like we need to have like an LLM.txt file or whatever at the root, and this is how like AI bots are going to discover your site and get good information, right? And in Shopify we don't have access to that, right? So what you have to do is like upload a file to your files in Shopify, get a Shopify CDN URL, and then just throw in some redirects. And so who knows if that works, if bots follow the redirects like that or whatever. Again, there's a lot of unknowns about that, and so there's some good things to clip into there directly from Shopify, and they address that directly, which is very helpful, what we should be doing there.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, that was one of the things I think that was really helpful, a really big piece. So again, and we talked a little bit about this with Farid the last time we had this on, and I mentioned this too. I was talking to Eitan, was just the whole we need to like tie into product taxonomy and standard category metafields. I think that's the takeaway, right? So we can do some of these other little hacky things, and I guess, I don't know, it's pretty quick to do, so you can do it, I guess, and just try to see if it's helpful. But in general, like the best way for you to do this is going to be through like the official channels. Like there's nothing going to be better than clean data in, not to mention how it gets surfaced in the Shopify space directly. So, there's that piece. Or not just Shopify, I'm sorry, Shop App. That was the new thing, right? Shop App, Shop Minis, all this other stuff. They talked about that. So all that stuff plays in really, really well. But so as far as some of the other things, I don't know. I actually have a couple of like little demos I thought we should like probably showcase. Yeah. So I'll do a little screen sharing here, because these are some things that we talked about, especially with Eitan. I didn't realize he worked with the Flow team so much. And so, I love Shopify Flow. And so it was great to be able to...
Yes, I do.
Just geek out on that with someone a little bit.
Man, you and your live demos, you're getting very brave.
Well, thankfully this is all Shopify tech. So if it goes wrong, I'm not live coding here. That's when you forget how to type and everything. So really cool with Shopify Flow. Some of the cool things that have like dropped since then. You can create workflows. You get prompted directly from Sidekick first. So Shopify is really working on this, and Eitan talks about this a little bit, like moving more towards this like declarative UI kind of type interface. Everything is more about like, hey, like giving it instructions and examples of how you want something to work. Now, within Shopify, you've always been able to like select a trigger or browse existing templates. The cool thing as well, so you can, if you go into a flow, this is just from a template here, but they have this really handy, nice little vertical arrangement now. You can just click on that, and bam, it just drops this in here, which is really, really nice. I really, really like this. Makes it a lot easier to see, and this is the default view now as well. When like Sidekick creates a flow, it's a lot easier to kind of like work through this as opposed to kind of like this horizontal placement that's been the default for a while. So it's nice to be able to get this just out of the box. So the other thing that I thought was very impressive, so this is from a Sidekick prompt. Sidekick's gotten very good at just being able to give a prompt, like kind of like we showed if you're going to create a flow, and it can get you most of the way there, which I thought was very, very helpful. So, you can give it this prompt. I didn't do anything else, and it cranked out this whole flow of something that I do pretty regularly. So we have folks, go ahead.
For folks that are listening or who can't read the tiny text, tell me a little bit more about what I'm seeing here. Yeah,
so for those who are listening or whatever, so basically when you're using Sidekick to prompt, Sidekick can just take your prompt and it will build out a flow based on what you're saying, instead of you having to go in and select the proper trigger and then figure out what additional conditions and actions you need to do from that. So I gave it a prompt basically to say like, hey, I want you to go through these orders that have line item properties with custom notes. Here's the key that I want you to look for specifically, and there's going to be a short message. I want you to tag those orders, and then I want to have the actual order itself, the note, updated for that order. So it didn't quite get that the way that it should. I'll talk about that real quick, unless they fix something here. And it just cranked it out. There's no additional like back and forth or anything like this. Gives you a whole bunch of info. You can preview the flow. It doesn't add it to the store immediately, so you can actually take a look at it. That's very nice. You can kind of go through that piece here. So the part that, at least specifically for order notes, and I have to see if they've actually updated this. I didn't have time to go back and check and see. You have to be careful about updating order notes because you actually have to include the original note when you're updating a note with flow. Otherwise, it will overwrite it with whatever you've written here. So it actually should have at the top of this, like you should drop in the original order note, and then I'll usually put a line, and then I'll put my logic underneath here. But this actually, like, it wrote a bunch of liquid out here, and like this actually looks pretty good, and actually has information about like the custom notes and everything. And again, I didn't touch anything. I just told it specifically what I wanted, and it just cranked this out. So it recognized the fact based on. I don't know, like if you're a dev or if you're a merchant not using something, like if you don't know what line item properties are and you don't know what to call it, or if you don't know what's, I wanted to see if it was smart enough to know too, if I call it line item properties, which is what we're using on the storefront, But
Sure.
then via flow, it's surfaced as custom attributes, right, when it's in the order. It's not surfaced as line item properties, whatever. That's what it's called in flow, is custom attributes. And so it was smart enough to figure that out. It knew that, and it handled that part beautifully. And it handled, tagging the order. It actually surfaced through this. It's like, hey, if at least one of the order line items has the custom attribute that we're looking for. So it did the conditional all by itself. It picked the right trigger. It did all of this stuff all by itself. Like I said, I think the only piece that I would know, and again, I need to find out if this has just been updated. At least before, historically, when I've been writing these, when it's updating order note, you have to make sure to include the original order note. Otherwise, it will overwrite it with your logic here, kind of type thing. So, just otherwise, 10 out of 10. We're gonna go ahead and add this to the store because I want to show the other piece here for this as well.
That's pretty cool.
We're gonna turn it on. So just a couple of buttons to do that. So the nice thing is too, and you could do this before, I guess. You can preview your workflow now, kind of type thing, which is cool. So, but what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go back. So before, if you wanted to do something in here, I'm going to go into edit. If you wanted to like test this out, you could actually pull in data. Let me see. Well, this is new. All right. Well, I probably shouldn't have done this. So the nice thing is, probably should have done this.
Live demo,
So
man. I'm telling
before,
you.
I know, it's like, oh no. So before that, like, you could just pull in specific orders. Like, you could have it refresh the data, go back and look through your order data, and you could actually test this against, like, hey, like, go through this. Otherwise, I mean, you can go into orders. You've been able to do this for a while. This is a dev store. But you can go up into manual actions and run a flow automation based on an order. And in this instance, we can manually have it like go through and do that. You can see that this is in progress. So here's the thing I wanted to show off here. Do you see how this like highlights? It's got these little borders around like the action steps here. It's letting you know about like the path that it's following and whether or not it found those conditions. So you can see here it stops right here. Okay, there's nothing because basically it stopped right here. It looked for a custom attribute that no longer exists, and so it did not go on to the next step in the flow. So if it actually progressed through the flow properly here, it would light up with this nice little border here that it's got, let you know kind of like the path that it follows. This is really helpful if you've got more complex conditionals and you're trying to run and test against orders. It's very, very nice, really good visual feedback here. So very happy that they did this. This was really cool.
That is a nice visual way of doing it, yeah.
It is, yeah. So that was at least, the updates with Flow that I thought were really cool. Some of that's been around for a while, but like the Sidekick and then the refreshing events and choosing events and stuff like this or whatever, that was newer type stuff, and I thought was really, really cool. And it's very, very good. It's come a long way as far as like when it first started to where it is now, being able to actually build out the flows and stuff. Quite good. The other thing, I don't know if you had questions about Flow, but the other thing that I thought was cool. So did you know that you, like the Dev Assistant, have you played around with it all that much in Shopify Dev Docs? Mm-hmm. So they talked a lot about the Dev Docs and MCP, like getting so much better, all the work and effort that they were putting into it as well. And so something that I learned, and you might have known this was there, Karl, because you're obviously, a 10x developer here.
On top of things, yes.
But within the Dev Docs, you can actually, if you're running Shopify app dev, right, you can actually, if you ask for a query here, for those of you, I'm on the Shopify Dev Docs and clicked on the assistant. I asked to find products that are digital or don't require shipping. And so this is kind of, I don't know, a random query that I pulled based on something I was asked to do for somebody a little while ago. But this little play button here opens up directly in GraphiQL, and it will use your app's scopes and everything to run, so you can find out if there's an issue with the query directly. So if you click this little play button here.
What app? Like, how does it know which app you're currently...
So I'm going to click on this.
You went into GraphiQL. There's the query.
And it's opened up GraphiQL with this query. I can go ahead and hit play, and you can see here.
Oh, there it is.
So here's my store. Okay, it's using this API version, and it's telling you specifically app that it's working. This was just an app that I spun up or whatever to test on a development store, and so it ran, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it would do this.
I see
So,
stuff like
I thought this
that.
was
That
neat.
little attention to the developer experience, tying those pieces together. That you could do this before manually, but man, it's so
Right.
much nicer. They put the thought.
Yeah, you don't have to
into
run back and forth and copy and paste. It knows I'm running Shopify app dev locally now, just so that way we could test this out. And it was able to like pull this up, which I thought again was super cool. So again, if you're in the dev assistant, like when you're looking at that query, instead of like worrying about copying and pasting or whatever, if you're going to test this out anyways, like just open it in GraphiQL. Like it works like really well. I thought this was really cool. I was talking to Liam about this. I was like, I've not seen this. I don't know what you're talking about. And I still like went back after, tried to find it, and I still was like, I just don't know. I was like looking up here. I was looking in all the wrong places, Karl. That's what I'm saying, because I'm like such a noob here. And he was like, he had literally sent me a screenshot of like this play button right here, man. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. Like that's where it is. Okay, I got you now. So I did tell him that since he took all the effort to point this out for me, I'd make sure to call that out here on the podcast. So yeah,
Thanks,
try that
Liam.
out. I thought it was really
helping
cool.
Taylor.
Yes, thank you for drawing that in crayon for me, because sometimes that's what I need.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
How are you doing at time? I saw you got a bunch of change logs like you want to cover too. Is there anything else from the event itself you want to make sure we talk about?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and like play like those recordings too, right? At a certain point. We're getting all of the permissions and stuff to make sure everything is cool. And yeah, but we'll go ahead and play some of those segments there. I thought so. I definitely want to make sure to mention offhand as well a couple of like real quick things that we're going to reference. Just the reference to the Sidekick app extensions. We didn't get to talk too much about that necessarily specifically, but I think people are going to be very excited about that. Again, I think that ties in with this idea or vision that it feels like the team has as far as like this declarative kind of type UI where you can ask Sidekick about how like a certain email campaign did or what have you kind of type thing. If you're running an email app, you basically are exposing pieces of your app to that to ensure that the merchant can interface with that directly instead of you having to figure out how to build like a UI that makes sense. Just giving that over basically to Sidekick to handle that and give like the quick updates, and that way the merchant knows like, hey, things are working, and there's some good feedback there. So I think that's really cool that they're working on that. And then obviously we've talked about this a little bit as well, but the shop minis just being very cool, and building on top of those, opening doors for more developers to develop. And ultimately getting more products in front of merchants. I think this is really cool. So Liam, we obviously heard a lot today about a whole bunch of cool stuff, agentic commerce, and all the cool things. But really, kind of like peeling that back a little bit, I think it was really cool. We were talking a lot about the MCP. Like everybody's using it, right? Or I mean, not a ton. I guess like there weren't a ton of hands. Like I've used it some degree. More people should be using it.
It looked about like around 75% of people in the crowd were using Dev MCP. Would like to talk to the other 25 and see why and understand. Like I know there are some things around things with like costs. Some people are like avoiding it and focusing more on the Dev Assistant in the docs because. That's like completely, there's no charge on that. It's a publicly available. There's no authentication. And you can still link the Dev Assistant in the docs to your partner account. So you can still run like whatever queries and mutations are generated. You can actually open those in the instance of GraphiQL in your partner accounts.
Oh wow!
There's a button. I don't know. Like sometimes people miss that button.
I think I've missed this button.
Yeah, there's a button. If next time you're on the Dev Assistant, and generate some code, there's a button where it says run this in GraphiQL, and you can run that, and then if you're logged into your store, it will just open a new browser and it will like run that.
That's amazing.
Which is really cool. Like so, that's maybe like a hidden feature that people are not super aware of. But otherwise with the Dev MCP, like there's great examples there around the migration use case that like that migrations are like maybe one of those things that they're not super creative processes. They can be very tedious, and like migration was actually one of the reasons why we started working on the Dev Assistant and the MCP generally, is because we wanted to help people migrate from REST to GraphiQL.
I thought that was the big first use case. That was the big push of the Dev Assistant early on.
That was the original use case, and now it's expanding out to other migrations. So we saw like Mark in the audience today was talking about migrating. I showed that tweet from Prakar from Voxel. I think those are perfect examples where it's work that's not the most fun. It's not the most creative. You're not building new features. It's kind of, it might be a platform limitation. It might be just best practices of moving something across, and something that like that could have eaten up your entire week. So you're losing a week of like more creative work, like researching a new feature, or just implementing something that's on your like backlog, and now you can actually your week isn't derailed with that. Now you can get that done in less than a day.
You can get back to building the cool stuff.
Exactly.
And I think Eitan talked about that a lot too, where
it's the time,
it's the mundane stuff that it's doing the heavy lifting of that part. And for people that weren't here, so there were a couple people that talked about that, and the tweet that you had shared from Prakar was basically like migrating over in like a day instead of like a week or 2 weeks.
It's huge unlock. And then the Foxtel team can then focus on what's that feature that they really want to tackle that they just didn't have the resources for.
Right. Yeah. So I've used that. I think you guys have done a lot of work. I know we've talked about the cost, but that was the thing too. I think originally with the MCP, the issue a lot of times was like the context window just got blown out super fast, and so everyone was just like really not able to do too much with it. But I know y'all have done a ton of work there to make that much more manageable. I think I did that most recently with a new checkout extension, which it just cranked that out, web components, everything, just like right out the gate, and you get those kind of like initial pieces, and it broke everything down just like how you thought it would, where before it kind of got slowed down. You guys have really taken in that feedback, and you've made significant improvements there.
And I think it's probably not just to the tooling, but also like there's definitely a perspective of like designing APIs now where you're thinking about like how is this going to be consumed by LLMs? Like how do I make it like it's even more important to make things have predictable patterns, because those are going to be picked up on by LLM tooling. So I think like maybe web components is a good example where there's a lot of predictability there, which then makes it much easier for LLM-powered tools to create something that's reliable, because like that predictable model is there.
Was that did that kind of, like you talked about the predictable models and web components, obviously quite a bit more predictable really when you start moving away from something like React, where you've got to worry about versioning and all this other stuff or what have you. Did that kind of motivate that move towards things like web components and more?
I'm not sure if it was like a happy coincidence, but it was definitely maybe something that like we accelerated towards, knowing that this would have the extra benefit.
Yeah, it made it a big advantage.
Yeah. Sure. And I think even just you'll probably see that perspective filter out, like as we release more APIs that. It's thinking like not just like how will developers use this, but how will LLM tools use this?
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so we talked a lot about MCP server, everything like that entails, right? And something that I know you've been very excited about since it's been coming out too was this push with Shop Minis.
Shop Minis, big fan. Yeah. Super bullish.
And there was like over 100 minis now, I think is what they said. What did they say? How many?
Could have been.
It a super high number. I was really surprised.
150? It sounds like it's like the first generation Pokemon collection. It's a lot. I think it kind of speaks to the diversity of merchants using Shopify, that for many different niches, There can be specific minis. I think one of my favorite I saw, can't remember the developer name offhand, but it was like a virtual sommelier, where you can take a picture of your meal, and then the shop mini will analyze the picture and it will recommend you food.
Oh, wow.
No, it'll recommend you wine to go with the picture.
Oh, wow,
so it's like
crazy.
a pairing. Yeah, so like a real world sommelier would do.
Yeah.
It give you like smart recommendations of merchants on Shopify selling the wine that goes with this meal.
That's amazing.
Like that's one example of many of just one industry. And if you think about like all the multitude of different industries where you could have a very similar approach. It just unlocks this whole new like surface for developers to build on. And also what I'm really excited about too is that it's bringing developers to the Shopify ecosystem that previously would never have like been building on Shopify. So developers with more mobile skills that they might not have considered like Shopify a space for them to be active in. Well, now like their skills are very transferable, and I guarantee you, like once they're like embedded and building the minis, they're absolutely going to start looking like, okay, how else can we like evolve into like there's always a lot of cross pollination with developers. So I think it's just going to bring a lot of like fresh perspectives, and I think this is going to be great for the ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And I don't know if you know this offhand too. Have y'all had any feedback from merchants too who are starting to get, there's some uptick now from shop because these apps are pointing people towards their products.
It's just adding more functionality, and very often it's. The feedback that we hear is like, oh, we didn't like know that this was possible. Right. And it's like, oh my God, this is like a big, this is not even something I even thought of. Like there's a feature I'd never thought of, but that actually applies to me. And like, I never would have even sought out an app. Right. But like having this marketplace to browse, now, you're finding these like new opportunities.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. What's your most favorite thing that you've been building in right now? What's your favorite area in Shopify that you
honestly it's the developer community. I would have to say it's probably, of all the stuff I've worked on, the dev community forums is absolutely the thing I'm the most proud of.
And y'all have been putting in a ton of work into the forums.
It's like we're just over like a 1 year. It was like a 1 year anniversary in October. Yep. So we just finished like one full calendar year, and like just seeing like the growth. And like we see so much activity in that space. I was even chatting with developers today that I think like I invited them because I could see they were active on the forums, and being able to meet them in person was like really, really cool. And like seeing so many developers helping other developers on the forums, it's there's a lot more we want to add in there. It's not perfect. It's not like it by any means like complete and we can just rest in our laurels, but like it's really proven that it's valuable, and it then warrants us being able to invest in there even further. So
that's awesome.
It's really cool. Like I love going into the forums every day. Obviously there's you're encountering developers like with issues, but like I love that we have this space where it's developer, whether it's us like internally helping developers or developers helping other developers, we are creating that space where it's collaborative, and the partner community are finding real value there. So
I can definitely say that, and I think it was really helpful too. Because before we really had the forums, but it was like a very general set of forums where you've got the merchant facing.
It was merchant facing with like partners kind of added on, not really maybe getting the full benefit of having an own space. Yep. So it's great to have something that's like intentionally feels like just, whether you're in the dev dash, whether you're on shopify.dev, you can flip to the forums and it feels like it's just part of one continuous experience, like visually through the UI. and yeah, that's like what we were going for. Like we always have a very intentional experience that we want developers to have, and yeah, we want that. Like, there's no way that we couldn't have that on the forums. So
for sure.
No.
Well,
awesome.
I mean, you've been doing it. You've been crushing it. So
thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for sitting down and answering some questions.
Yeah, and thanks for being here. It's amazing. I think this is my Liquid Weekly.
I know.
Debut.
We've been trying to get you on for so long, and you're always so busy. You're everywhere all at once, and I finally got you.
Okay. This is just the sneak peek. You got it on tape here. I'll be making my full appearance on Liquid Weekly.
We'll have a
very
proper
soon.
sit down.
Yeah, I would love to.
Awesome. Thank you,
Taylor. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So Darius is over here with us. So first time on the Liquid Weekly podcast. Graciously decided to sit down with us. Liam didn't force him to sit down or anything. He's here on his own free will.
Exactly.
So Darius, can you maybe talk about what you do first at Shopify?
Sure.
And then would love to just talk to you. We talked about a lot of stuff with Agentic Commerce, MCP, Unified Commerce Protocol, all this stuff. And so you cover a lot of ground on the Shopify space. So definitely want to talk about what you want to talk about. But maybe first what you do at Shopify, and then maybe what you're really most excited about right now.
Sure. So I'm a senior product lead at Shopify, and I work on the dev platform. So some of the things that I cover are our API foundations, our event foundations, so webhooks, Metafields, meta objects, and then our dev tools and experiences. So DevDash, CLI, Dev MCP, Dev Assistant, Shopify.dev, all the ways you would use and interact with the developer platform.
So basically, all the things that we have to say thank you for making our lives a little bit easier.
I appreciate it. Hopefully it's all good things, yeah. Hopefully all good things to say.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it has come seriously such a long way, and what feels like a very short amount of time, which that's what we've talked about a lot today, too, is just like everything being like really productive and kind of like moving things along. So I know everyone's really excited about talking about MCP, so I don't know. As far as like what you're most excited about, we talked a little bit about Liam with that specifically. Y'all put in a lot of work to make sure that covers a lot of areas of Shopify Dev. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, of course. So we started with Dev Assistant like 2 years-ish ago. So and the big problem we always had on Shopify.dev was people just quickly being able to discover and find the right information they're looking for, especially when you have a surface as complex as GraphiQL, where it's super gnarly with all the different fields and ways it connects into each other. We were seeing developers really struggling with trying to figure out a way to accomplish their specific use cases. And LLMs, we felt were going to be a big unblock for that, because it can take all of this content that exists and kind of interpolate and build you the exact example that kind of fits your needs.
Right.
That was our kind of first foray into that area. Reception has been really positive. And then we've basically gone on a 1.5-year journey to do that across all of Shopify. And also at a high degree of quality. Like, we want to make, the worst thing is to, you work with an LLM, it hallucinates a bunch of stuff, and then like you're completely, you want to just turn it off, right? So like we wanted to make sure it's high quality and something that is high retentive and you'd want to keep coming back to.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that a little bit with Liam, where I think originally the Dev Assistant kind of started with that. It had that surface of really helping people migrate from REST to GraphQL. We talked about some real big successes that devs have had with that. I saw Liam even like I've even used it for Liquid. Like originally, I mean, any model I was using early on was really bad with Liquid, and that was evident. So I work directly with merchants, and so I've gotten several jobs from merchants who like discovered Claude code and then just totally borked like Liquid. But even I asked it to do something the other day, and the Dev Assistant just like, hey, like how would I do this in the storefront? And it cranked it out like everything, like GraphQL, and then if you want to surface stuff on the storefront, like here's how you do this in Liquid or whatever. It's like it gave me examples of how to do this in different surfaces. So was it like a really heavy lift to make that happen, or was it just because like these models are just getting better?
I mean, it's both, I would say. So definitely models are getting better, and we've really benefited from that. But we spent a lot of time just thinking about all of the ways we can make these models a lot better. So like, for example, really focusing on writing high quality content and good examples that's what the models are going to use as the base source of data. But then also what we found was a huge unlock was really investing in validation tools and self-healing. So like the models are going to hallucinate. How can we help them get back on track as quickly as possible?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. Well, I mean, again, super appreciative of all you're doing in there. So UCP, like, you want to talk about that at all? Like, what is that's a lot of big stuff happening in that space as well. I don't know what you want to say about that. From that perspective.
I mean, I'm very excited for Universal Commerce Protocol. It's going to be a way for all agents to be able to interact with all shops, even beyond Shopify stores, and really providing the specification for commerce to happen over an agentic flow. Mm-hmm. So we think this will accelerate agents, which will be good for merchants because that will just overall accelerate agentic commerce into this new world.
Mm-hmm. Now, I thought it was pretty cool that y'all had talked about as well. You're already tapping into like old Shopify tech or stuff we're used to using. Like, so for instance, we talked about with UCP, or maybe I might have got that confused too with Catalog API. It'll respect like SEO hidden metafield, stuff like this or what have you, or now will it also, like the unlisted product status specifically? I know people had questions about how do we exclude variants. I know that's a whole different beast in and of itself, and that's not like a thing right now. But so as far as like when we're starting to work with these kinds of experiences and merchants are starting to buy into agentic commerce and all that stuff, like we need to invest into like making sure the right data is in metafields, like category metafields and those sorts of things, or are there other services that we need to be tapping into for that?
So definitely taxonomy attributes are going to be an input into the catalog API. So if I'm building a 3D printer agent and you have a 3D printer business, but you haven't set up your taxonomy attributes in the right way, you might get excluded from my catalog API. So just making sure you're set up the right way there.
Yeah.
And then also just going through and making sure all of the attributes that are getting passed down to the catalog API through knowledge base and the default schema viewer are up to date and a high quality would be the best way to make sure that you're represented the right way in the catalog.
Right. So we can make basically the data is richer there as long as it's going into the right spaces.
Exactly.
We're hooking into that. So if we're creating all these custom metafields to decorate these products or what have you, those are not naturally discoverable, and so we should make sure we do invest in like those standard category metafields that's tied to product taxonomy.
Exactly. That would go a long way.
Awesome. Okay, that's really helpful. I think from a merchant standpoint as well, because originally, like we had this happen. I think as well in the middle of a store build. The category metafields were just rolling out but weren't surfaceable yet for search and discovery apps, so we couldn't use them in filters, and so we create our own color metafields or something like that.
Okay.
And so then like people bought into that. So now we're kind of going back. So you would say that's going to be a huge benefit for people if you went through and you create a bunch of these custom fields. Go back and make sure that they're in the proper category metafields.
Yeah, I think like it's just providing more signals to the catalog API, which are always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just enriching your data set. And then, like I said, if for some reason there's someone building an agent that is filtering to a specific taxonomy attribute, you just want to make sure you're represented in that agent.
Okay. Nice. Awesome. So how does this play into as well when we start looking into? So you said we can ask like questions about metafields and meta objects.
Sure, yeah.
So the really cool thing, obviously, I think the biggest thing that's happened really recently was y'all just kind of like just basically blew the roof off of limits for metafields. Well, not metafields. We already could do whatever we want with metafields, but meta objects specifically. And I know, was that because like y'all were like felt good about like this is stable, or because you kept hearing feedback from people of like, hey, there's a limit on meta objects, but it feels like we're being encouraged to put the data there, right, as much as possible. So I don't know if you have.
I mean, yeah. So to your stability point, we use metafields and meta objects under the hood in Shopify. It powers a lot of use cases as well. A lot of stuff that we don't feel should be modeled as part of products, but should be part of Shopify in some way. Show up as standard metafields as well, right? So like it's prevalent throughout the system. It's load bearing to Shopify, I would say.
Yeah.
The push to really increase the limits is like we felt we had invested a ton in performance over the last couple of years, and we just felt we were preventing merchants or developers from building these use cases that made a lot of sense, or they were having to build all of these hacks around the system. And then the second piece was app developers had this shared pool of resources with all the other app developers and merchants. There was a single bucket limit, and then we wanted to split that apart so that it was more predictable what sort of usage you were going to get on a per shop basis. So for example, if you're going to store all your business facts in metafields as a public app, it might work on store 1, but then you might hit a limit on store 2, and then you cannot rely on metafields at all. So we just wanted to really expand upon that and make it accessible to everybody. And I think this will be just great for app developers, merchants, and everybody, all our entire audience, because they can just store more business facts in Shopify and get our performance and scale backing those.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I love putting everything into like metafields and meta objects, and so like that's even to the point where I mean, I have started to be like, all right, well, I'm going to create a meta object for this, and people are like, well, no, like you could just use that, like this has already existed a while. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that's the move now. It's meta objects, and so but as far as maybe have you maybe seen or been kind of disappointed that people haven't used meta objects for a certain use case, or things that you're hoping that people start using it for?
I think the big move is going to. I think app developers are going to come to it more now because they have their own shared bucket of limits. So like 100%. It used to be like, people had figured out that this was an optimal way to render their theme extensions or anything that was in a high traffic buyer surface, because you get Shopify scale and performance. It shows up as part of the liquid rendering flow rather than being a separate call to your server and you having to figure out how to scale that out. So I imagine a lot more app developers are going to be coming over, and then I think we want to make. I think metafields and meta objects still feel like this complex piece. Like people who figured it out see it as a huge unlock, but I think we still have more to do in terms of awareness and explaining that sort of capabilities and unlock. So I think as we do that, it will also people will kind of see the value and come to it more naturally.
Well, and I think again, a reason for me to say thank you, but like so for a handful of devs. That are app devs, that's one of my favorite from the merchant standpoint, where the app devs that have bought into meta objects, where they actually make it surfaceable to me as the dev working on the front end, and they just like, hey, here's this meta object, you can access everything via Liquid here and do whatever you want with it. So everything from, I know Liam shared a post earlier from Prakar over at Foxcell Bundles, like that's one that I've used over and again because they've bought into that, where we're using meta objects and I can get the config, so we can create very custom bundles for merchants that are very branded specifically to them or what have you. So I really enjoy that pattern personally, like from my own personal benefit. So I do hope more app devs do adopt that kind of mentality.
Absolutely, yep, for sure.
So, is there anything else that you want to talk about that we missed talking about, and all that other stuff?
I mean, it's the age of AI. I'm always excited about DevFCP and Dev Assistant. I think that's going to be a space that evolves quite a lot over the next 6 months as well. I'm really excited about, now that we have all the data and at a high quality, what are all of the other use cases we can open up. It was really interesting hearing folks talk about testing in the crowd and how we could all collaborate on expediting that further and bringing more contextualization and helping you, bringing all of your app information to kind of expand on those use cases, whether it be auto app upgrades or fixing issues fixing areas of your app that are broken that we're aware of. I'm excited to see how that space evolves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Darius, thank you so much for your very valuable time. It was great hearing you talk up there, and thank you for sitting down with us.
No, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, cheers.
Very good. You good? Okay, great. So, Eitan, thank you for sitting down with us here to chat a little bit after you gave a great series of talks and you fielded a whole bunch of Q&A.
Yeah.
Something that I hooked into there that I really wanted to talk to you about, and I'm glad that you said yes, was Shopify Flow. You're working a lot with it. I didn't realize you worked so much with Flow. So,
yeah.
Let's talk about Flow.
Yeah, Paul Nuschke, who's very active in developer community on X
awesome.
and other places. He's on my team. He's been working on Flow for 5+ years. But so shout out to the whole team that works on it. Yeah, maybe just give an update on the things we released as a part of the recent edition, because I think it's like a major, it was a major release for Flow. I kind of think it almost like as Flow 3.0. So the ability to generate workflows via Sidekick is a big thing. And then we also introduced a testing layer that makes it really easy to test your workflows before you go and publish them.
Which I love the testing layer.
Yeah.
It's very, the ability to build out flows with Sidekick, very, very good. It's very, very good. But the ability to test, and then go back and even change the testing data and everything specific is very, very cool.
Yeah. The testing feature is awesome. I think it's it's one of the hardest. I think what this really, unlocks, I'd be curious to get your take as well, is that if you're new to Flow, it can be kind of intimidating, right?
Yeah,
because it's okay, I have to go and figure out what my trigger is. I have to then do maybe some like a condition, but depending on the value is this, do this, value is something else, do something else, and kind of wire the whole thing up from scratch.
Right.
And so now with Sidekick, and then you have to go make sure it actually works,
right,
and it's not doing something like massively unintended. And so now Sidekick, you can type in natural language, what do you want it to do, it'll generate it for it. We're seeing like really good results there. And then with the testing, you can basically give it like an order that you might have had and be like, hey, let's imagine there's an order scenario, and see every step it's taking. So you can see the flow of data, no pun intended, like moving through the workflow, and like how it's making decisions. So before you go and hit like activate, you're confident it's going to work.
Yeah, which is very, very helpful, because before, like if you were using something like an order created trigger or something like this, you just have to keep going back, which it was still helpful to be able to manually deploy. It's still helpful to be able to manually rerun or whatever kind of type thing, but now being able to just do this in real time, it's much closer to kind of like when you're doing development and we're saving and we're refreshing or whatever, it's hot reloading, and we're like, okay, great, like this is working. And the thing that I actually missed too, so I signed up for like the early preview for this or whatever, so I had access to this, and I did not realize I could refresh the data too for your what you're using for testing. And so I actually hopped on a call with Paul to like take a look at something. And he was like, "Oh yeah, just use this because this is like a 6-month-old order, and you don't want this data. You don't want this. You want this fresh data or whatever." It's like, oh, like that was actually what I was missing. That's perfect. So that worked out really well. So you guys really thought this through, and even too, you can swap to where it's more of that vertical flow too. I think the visual layout for that, particularly when you're debugging, is really helpful. Yeah. We moved to the vertical layout because also like when you generate things from Sidekick, it's really nice to get that vertical screen real estate, and also we also condense things a bit more. So it's a little bit like just easier to like see more of the workflow at one time, especially when you get into something with like a lot of branching logic. So so I think the vertical layout with like Sidekick on the right, it just works nicely. No, it's great. Huge. And did I interrupt you there? Did you have another point for flow too?
No,
I was really excited about this.
I was going to say yes. I mean, I'm glad that you discovered it. We need to drive more discovery. Is that you can go through other orders. And so then we're thinking about a little bit is like how do we make that a little more discoverable and obvious, so that way people can know like, okay, hey, these are almost like my test cases. Right. Hey, I'm going to work on this, change some things in this workflow. These are almost like my test cases I want to go through and make that a bit clearer.
Because it's particularly helpful if we're doing stuff like we're using maybe doing specific interactions with like custom attributes and stuff like this or what have you in orders. Like that's a good example or what have you, where we can just set up those different scenarios. So that's very helpful to be able to pick and choose between those. So I mean, it feels like y'all thought through that really, really well as well.
I mean, we've been thinking about the team's been thinking about testing for a while, and this combination of like, okay, now we've got LLM generation, really robust testing. Like you said, it just makes like generation and build out just like the loop so much faster.
And it's very accessible for merchants still. I mean, you can still unlock a lot if you're a developer and you can actually access code. You can do things now. We can actually like do something with return data from a call and all this other stuff now, so that there's a lot that you can do with Flow. We're just basically getting rid of some apps even too, and so which is fine. It's not some people see that as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's making it more accessible to merchants. And so people, app devs can build out more complicated stuff anyways. That's the stuff they want to be building anyways.
That's right. Yeah, totally agreed.
So pivot a little bit from Flow. You want to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff. I know we talked a lot tonight about like Universal Commerce Protocol. Y'all did a lot of work with that. You collaborated with Google. That feels pretty huge from that perspective. So I don't know if there's something specifically that you want to talk about with that. And how that ties in with Catalog API, all the work y'all are doing there as well.
I mean, so really our aim there is we want to make it so that like any agent can work with any retailer, Shopify obviously, but also even beyond Shopify, and make that like as frictionless as possible. Right. And so UCP is a big thing there, because now if you want to go build a new agentic experience, and let's imagine you're like, hey, I want to build something in the realm of like interior decor or like home design. You can create a catalog in DevDash today. Say, hey, I want to like source products from these merchants that I really respect a lot, and like that, mesh well with what I'm trying to do. Build out your own catalog view, and then build out a commerce experience fully on top of it. And you don't have to like, and then you could even integrate again, because we've worked with other retailers on this protocol, like Wayfair. You could even bring in products from Wayfair as well into your view. And again, as the developer, you don't have to like build to like many backends. You can build to UCP, and then your agentic experience will work. And like it is a little cheesy, but very relevant. I think for the industry, it's important because you think about protocols that, I mean, beneath a lot of the web are really important standard protocols that, you know, the community and companies embrace, right? HTTP being one of the biggest ones, obviously that makes the internet work, and so we think that UCP is going to help drive that for commerce.
Yeah. Well, and so and this is beneficial for everyone because I'll give you an example as far as like when this has all been rolling out, people are starting to get into this idea of agentic engine optimization. So we have search engine optimization, now we've got agentic engine optimization, right? And everybody's, we're all still figuring this out, but everybody's got their own spin. So I've literally been doing this thing. I don't even know if this is helpful. So like maybe you could be like, this is terrible, don't do this. But like everybody's got an LLM.txt file or whatever, LMS.txt file, and so that's what people were saying. Like, hey, like upload this. We obviously can't access the root in Shopify from the storefront, so we're uploading it to files. We've got a CDN URL that we're now setting up a redirect to this markdown file.
This LLM.txt.
And I'm like, this can't actually be helpful. How do I measure if this is helpful or not? But so UCP is the answer to like really like we can do these kind of like hacky things to try to maybe appeal to some of these other pieces or what have you. But really, we should be focusing on things like standard category metafields and product taxonomy. And then also for when we're trying to expand even further, looking into like building for UCP.
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think leveraging taxonomy, leveraging like the primitives we have for like products, product variants, all the capabilities we have there, and like you said, taxonomy for sure, and designing that to work great for all the human shoppers that are going to come to storefronts, and we like are going to make sure that we get the right things in there for agents as well, given all the input that our merchants are going to give us. Right. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. So that's what we should. That's I keep hearing that, and I confirmed that with Darius. So it's like this is what I keep hearing is we need to keep doubling down on product taxonomy, standard category metafields, give all the right touch points, because Shopify is already doing the heavy lifting of making sure that's accessible, right? Like we don't have to do these hacky things like upload a text file and try to get a redirect to hit this. Like this is already accessible to us. We just have to put it in the right place.
Exactly, and you'll like when you go through Catalog API, you'll see like we're leveraging all those things to make sure that it's showing up well to all the agents that are utilizing those capabilities.
Nice, and we did have so on the podcast. I don't know if you saw this one. We had Farid Masimov on, and he had built one of the first shop minis. He was kind of in the first round with y'all, and so he had a really cool pick your color kind of type app in that space, and that was his suggestion, was also from Shop Mini's perspective as well, because Shop Mini's in the background is also using Catalog API to surface some of those.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And so that was his suggestion as well, was making sure like actually put data into the category metafields. Otherwise, there's not as much to sync into, and so your products will be better found if you're putting your data in the right spot.
Yeah, 100%. And that's actually a great call out. Like we're leveraging the same thing internally. Like obviously, like you mentioned for Shop. 100%.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Cool.
What other things are you excited about? I know people were asking about like, what are you building? And all this other stuff.
I'm excited about Sidekick app extensions.
Yes.
Sidekick is getting used by merchants more and more every day. It's like really kind of hitting an inflection point in terms of usage, and I think that like merchants are just coming to expect and are clamoring for like, hey, I've got a bunch of apps installed. I want to ask some questions about my apps. I want to find out, like, hey, I'm using, Klaviyo for email. I'm using Seguno for email, or what have you. I think merchants are really clamoring for that. And so I'm excited for Sidekick app extensions to give our developer community the ability to show up in Sidekick, to respond to merchant questions. And for merchants, it's going to be awesome because they're going to be able to get more done faster, be able to answer questions about hey, how'd that email campaign do? I sent a transactional thing. How did that do? Any number of questions about various apps they might have installed.
Y'all are creating more and more surfaces for Sidekick to handle. Is like the eventual thought is that there will be a lot of merchants who primarily interface with their shop pretty much through Sidekick?
I think it'll just depend on the use case, but I think that we want to make it possible for Sidekick, it's just to remove toil and make it easier to get things done. And a lot of times it's going to be easier to just talk to an agent, to Sidekick, and tell like, hey, go do these things, rather than have to go through like what we call an imperative UI. So think about like kind of like a traditional UI is like an imperative UI. You have to like do this knob, then click here, then click there. With a declarative interface like Sidekick, you can just tell it, go do these things. This is the state I want Shopify to be in. Go do it. Sidekick will come back and tell you like, oh, I understood what you meant, Taylor. Like, hey, here's what I'm going to go do. You're like, yep, please go do that. Confirmed. Great, it's done. And it's just a way faster mechanism where you as the user don't have to like know every knob to go touch, even though you might actually know. You can just tell a machine to go do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of app devs that are very excited to get their hands on that, and it's up on the docs. People can sign up for the early beta here kind of type thing for that. So I know a bunch of people are going to be jumping into that.
Yes, I've gotten a lot of DMs about it, a lot of excitement. And,
like win.
Yeah. When's it coming? So it's coming soon.
Very
cool to
cool.
get their hands on. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about before I let you go?
No, this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah, covered a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending even more time with us here, and
you bet.
We'll catch you soon.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Yeah, later.
Here. So do we want to talk about Changelog, or should we skip Changelog then? Because we do have recordings and we have other stuff to kind of.
Why don't you give us the
sprinkle.
highlights just in case we need? If you're prepared.
The highlights.
If you're not
I will
prepared.
try my best just to make it. Yeah. So, and I'll go over. We'll do a little screen sharing here. Because I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful or not. If people want it, just so that way I'm jabbering or whatever. We've got it in the notes and everything. So, but we'll go ahead and do it. We'll do it live. So, new article list input settings for themes. This is exciting for developers that are working in themes. Like, we just need to be able to have settings for everything. So, I'm excited to see more in here. Obviously, it's been helpful to have articles accessible, using that to like surface on a product page and stuff like this, and now being able to have the list as well. Super handy. Very glad that Shopify is paying attention to that. Boop. Okay. You can also now migrate over Metafields with Shopify app import custom data definitions. This seems handy, particularly for people that are actually leveraging and using Metafields and everything specifically within their apps. Big fan. Talked about it with Darius as well, like in the interview there, as we'll see. Apps that are doing this and then exposing that to developers even that want to use it. There's great examples of that. Our friends over at Foxcell and Discount Kit, so Prakar and Sammy and stuff. Like, love when people are surfacing touch points on the theme for me to customize stuff. I think that's great. I hope all app developers do that at some point. That's great. So that's making that easier for y'all. Action required 1. Shop Minis development now requires partner account permissions. So just to be aware of that. I haven't touched Shop Minis, but just be aware you'll need some necessary permissions within your partner org for that. So make sure you've got that set up.
That's cool.
That's there. Also, another action required, standardization of asset URL version params. So most themes don't necessarily need anything done here, but if you're utilizing a standard liquid asset filter to generate URLs, for instance, it'll automatically do an updated format. This is for instances where maybe you've done your own finagling here. Just be aware that is coming. So if you have any URLs that maybe are outside of that, you'll want to make sure that does get updated. This was something that was talked about quite a bit as well. So the Shopify app extensions and AppBridge now support admin and theme app extensions. A lot of devs were talking about this being super beneficial and helpful. Yeah, so I think that that's going to continue to be helpful. People want to see this in all the surfaces and stuff because obviously it is helpful for people to know when things are enabled, right? So that's obviously very helpful. And then last, but certainly not least, action required for ensuring POS UI extension stability by hardening callback handling. I don't work with POS at all, but this is an action required, so we want to make sure that this is on y'all's radar here, and yeah, something you should know to prevent any further disruptions there for POS UIs. I know, I was like, so I wanted to make sure to call that out. So just real high level, that's the changelog. We'll have the links and stuff in the description here as well. And yeah,
particularly excited about the app extensions one. Because
yeah. Is that something you're going to find immediately useful just because y'all are surfacing that for theme app extensions?
Yes, so in the app, we check as part of the onboarding flow that the merchant has enabled the theme extension because they have to do that step themselves.
Now, before you had to just parse over theme files looking
Basically,
for
you have
your
to
app
pull in
handle,
the settings,
right? Is that how you used to do that
for the
previously?
theme, and then parse out the state of the extension as recorded in that JSON. But there's no hook for that, right? So you have to figure out how to pull for it or when to trigger it in a way that doesn't make too much dumb sense. So this would be much nicer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, thanks for sharing those, Taylor, as always.
Very cool. You got it.
Awesome. Yeah, the third half
picks
of our
of the
show.
week.
My favorite
I think
half.
we have enough time that you actually were able to come. Did you come up with
I
something
did.
while I was jabbering?
So the third half of the show is my favorite half of the show because it's picks of the week, and
Picks of the
I
week.
have better picks of the week, picks of the nose. Although there's been a bit of that lately too because we've had a cold go through the house. But now it's my turn to talk together, so I will share. My pick of the week is we actually took the kids on a little overnighter to Great Wolf Lodge, which is an indoor water park establishment.
Yeah,
They have several across the
Nice.
country. I'm not a huge water park guy. I've done it in my youth and had enjoyed the experience, but now it's like the whole, I don't want to have to deal with both being wet and in a swimsuit and also like being responsible for things like my phone and the wallet and kid stuff, whatever, right? It's
Children.
just children, yeah. We have 3 of those now. And unfortunately, the timing of it was such that we were supposed to leave Monday morning, which was
Oh yeah.
a few hours after the big snowstorm stopped. So it's like, well, that's not happening. So we switched it to Tuesday, thinking like that will work. So Monday afternoon, I had told the neighbors like we need to get out of here because they don't plow our cul-de-sac.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's rare they ever plow it. And then if they were gonna plow it at all, I knew it wasn't gonna be for a while. So I'm like, we're gonna have to chisel our way out of the street. It's about 1/10 of a mile, and there's no way. So some of our neighbors had a snowblower, and he went out there and he cleared off a big portion of it right outside of our driveway, which is super helpful. And then there's just this big long stretch of 12 inches of snow to the street. Once you get to the street, it's gonna be fine. Like, all right, I'm gonna do a test run. So I got on my trusty '06 Corolla, and I went for it, and I got stuck. Not even halfway there, and I backed it up, did some stuff, got almost all the way there, and was stuck. And finally, 2 neighbors came, pushed me out. Wheels are spinning, exhaust is smoking. I'm doing whatever damage I'm doing to the car. Kids are there trying to shovel me out because they know what's at stake, right? If we don't get out of this thing, we're not going.
We got to get out of here. We got to get to the water park.
They push me out, get on the street. I'm okay at that point. I'm thinking, all right, at least we have 2 grooves now in the snow. Like, if I can hit those coming back. So I do a little errand while I'm out, go to Kroger, get some stuff, come back, and I have to hit the road, just right, because, it turned out onto the main road, right? So I've got to, turn in the exact same way and hit those the same grooves. So I floor it, and I come in hot and heavy, and luckily I managed to maintain enough momentum to keep going, but also not risk, sliding into the cars or on the side of the street or other people, things like that, right? So I got back in, but I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Okay.
Tomorrow's going to be tricky.
It's going to be dicey.
Yeah. We did see another neighbor manage to get out, so we're like, okay, odds are looking up, but I'm still not 100%. But the next morning, we basically backed out of the driveway. I looked down the street. It was clear. It was a straight shot. I said, all right, we're just going to gun it, and we're going to hope nothing's coming in the street. We're going to do this thing, right? And so we carried enough momentum, and we just barely made it out of there.
Oh gosh.
But once we were out, the rest of the roads were fine. ODOT did a great job
fine.
of the highways, and it was the city more than anything. And by the time we came home on Wednesday, they had actually plowed one little path down, so at least it was passable.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. It really depends on where you live in the city. Certain subdivisions, well, not subdivisions, but there's other cities in the city. Columbus is kind of an amalgamation, have better snow removal.
Yeah.
But the city itself, which is where we live, that's a lag behind a bit. Anyway, so Great Wolf Lodge, kids had a great time. Big part of it was the family. We had a bunch of family come, so they had cousins to play with and things like that. But there's this thing at Great Wolf Lodge called Magic Quest. Have you ever heard of it? And this is my pick of the week, actually, is this game. And it's an interactive game. It's an upsell, right? So you have to buy this wand that has, it's like a TV remote kind of level of technology in there or whatever, but they have these different kiosks scattered all throughout the lodge, and this whole game around different quests and adventures you go on, and you have to like go to different things and activate different stuff and load things. It's all computerized.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The kids loved it. It was something for them to do when they're not in the pool. And then my 4-year-old, he just turned 4, he loved it too. Like, didn't understand anything that's going on, but like the idea of like, oh, I'm fighting a dragon, this is so great, right? Yeah, so there's a whole subreddit around this thing. Apparently, it used to be quite the game. I think it's maybe
fancy,
been back down a bit, but check it out, Magic Quest. If you ever go to Great Wolf Lodge, I'm sure it might be other places too.
I'll have to look. Because there is. So you went down to the Cincinnati area, so yeah, right? Basically. And there is a Great Wolf Lodge in Ohio as well, up in Sandusky. So other end of the state. Yes, sir. There is. There's a Great Wolf Lodge. There's Castaway Bay, which is Cedar Point's, and I know a lot about these indoor water parks because my son loves them. And okay. So, and then there's also Kalahari.
I've been to Kalahari
up there in Sandusky. So. Yeah, Sandusky, there's not a ton of water parks in all of Ohio, but there's 3 of them in Sandusky. So, whatever. So, that's awesome. I'll have to check and see. That actually, up in Sandusky, we have been to all 3 of those. Great Wolf is actually my least favorite out of those 3. So, but I mean, I think that depends on the age of your kids.
Yeah.
Too. Well, so, that also plays a big factor.
Great Wolf Lodge, the big ding for me, I mean, so many, but the one I'm choosing to ding is they only serve exclusively Pepsi products.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't planning on buying a lot of food anyway. I brought some, but still, it's like at least have some options. Like, gotta get a Diet Coke. Now I looked at pictures I'd taken from 9 years ago when I was last at Kalahari, and they had Coke products then. So next time you go to Kalahari, just double check, see if there's still a Coke establishment, and that might change it for me.
I don't drink pop. So that's not going to be a thing for me, but I will let you know if what they end up when they end up. Dude, I like ice cream too much. You got to give up something. Like you can't love too many sugary things, And pop was the easiest thing to get rid of. So I really like ice cream. I got the creamy, Carl. Like that's remember
no
I
just in Diet Coke. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my pick.
But aspartame. There's a whole thing around that stuff, man. It's too dicey. Anyways, we're getting off the rails, huh? So, my pick of the week... Yeah, I did that for you. I'm glad you saw that. I'm going to pick these DJI... I'm sorry, not DJI. DJI... I can't even say it. Little mini mics. So this is what we use to record these little interviews. So, like, I mean, if you don't do any kind of recording, obviously this doesn't appeal to you at all. Maybe... but the little wireless microphones, you can plug them into your laptop and use that to record as well. Like if you need to like move around or something, they're very good. They're very, I don't know. They're obviously a little bit more pricey unless you can use it for something directly related to work. But I was really impressed with how well it worked. And then of course, obviously, the sweet microphone. This was really cool. Which. For some behind the scenes, for anybody who's made it this far, this is not an actual microphone. Just the little microphone. The tiny one just goes in here, and then this little guy goes over top of it. But it's still just the little mic minis is what they're called or whatever. And so it's the little wireless mic, but it looks cool because you're holding this and looks more professional. And then obviously Carl's awesome, stunning work with the stickers here. This worked perfectly and stuff. So I'm gonna get that for the next one. So I'm excited for additions for that. The recordings, when you hear them, I thought it did a really good job. Like very little editing required in order to make the audio usable. It has its own like noise cancellation stuff. It's pretty simple to use. There's a lot more complex stuff in there that I don't know how to use yet or whatever. I just did the simple like basic noise cancellation. It was very loud at the Editions event, and everything could be heard very clearly. I was really impressed with it, with how easy it was to use. So I was a big fan. That's my pick. Obviously not super practical for your everyday person here, but for us recording for the podcast and be able to get more field recordings or in-person recordings or whatever, like it's going to be super helpful.
Well, it's funny because, I think I mentioned to you that I also had picked up a DJI wireless mic set around our Christmas because they had such a good deal on it, and I thought, well, this is like a one-time deal. I keep seeing the deal, so no, it clearly was not a one-time deal. So it was like $75
never a one-time deal
for the case and 2 microphones and the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's the same level as yours. I think you got the next step up. So I'm not sure what features yours has.
I think it's just because I got the newest model. So I got the Mic 3. I don't know which one yours is. But
I could double check, but
yeah, I was very happy with the Mic 3s. They were also doing a deal. I'm sure it's not going to be the only time, but it was more affordable than it normally is. So it just made sense, and it was very easy to set up. You can plug in your phone, can plug into other devices. Big fan as far as like how it goes. It comes in a very nice carrying case as well, but it also, the charging case for it is just very well done. It like feels very well made, and software and stuff worked on it great. So
yeah, see, I got the DJI Mic Mini. That's all it says. Still available for $80.
So mine is just like newer generation is all, I think.
Don't even list it on here. Weird. I thought the deals were because the government was doing something where they weren't going to let DJI sell like drones and stuff, because they make drones too. It's the Chinese company.
I'd say they make drones. Like, they're a really popular brand for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was like, oh, better get it while I can. But
no, they're still around. Still killing it.
That's cool. All right. Well, I think we've done it, Taylor. You and I together have wasted, I don't know. Invested another perfectly good hour. Listening to the Wicked Wiki podcast. As always, it's been a pleasure, Taylor. Enjoy the snow today, this weekend, and it's good to see you again.
You too. Glad you got to make it out safely and back in the middle of a winter snowstorm to the indoor water park. So
it was a hoot. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. Happy hacking.
Bye.